What is up? I know it's been 3 weeks. You didn't see this handsome face. You're going through withdrawal. I know. No, right? Well, I got my drinking shirt on today. Showed up for the
Yay!
party. I've not had any drinks today. At least not yet, anyway.
I'm having a cleansing tea for all the drinks I've had.
Oh, jeez. Good Lord. I'm drinking a peach Minute Maid drink.
Ooh!
Peach juice. It's not that bad. Little peachy, but not too bad. Well, we went food shopping today. God, I hate going food shopping. It's so depressing. I hate going shopping, period. It's so depressing. I have to give them my money.
Yep.
But, all right. So those of you that haven't been paying attention, I know it's been kind of weird. We were supposed to do this last week, and I went on vacation and completely forgot about it, so I had to switch things around. And I apologize to people. But tonight we're going to be talking about stigmata, the wounds of Christ, as they're called. Basically, what it in Christianity, they're basically the appearance of bodily wounds, scars, and pain in locations corresponding to the crucifixion wounds of Jesus Christ, such as the hands, wrists, and feet. Stigmata are exclusively associated with Roman Catholicism. Many reported are members of Catholic religious orders. So I'm also going to say some people have also had the crown on the forehead, as well as whip marks on the side of the body. So, not like getting smacked in the face by your own microphone.
That was me. I did it.
I knew it. I must punish you. I'm sending all the heat your way.
Yeah. No.
But so we'll start with what you found, because I found some stuff, but I didn't have time to read most of it. So if you see me flipping through pages, flipping through pages, that's why I didn't get a chance to read up on a lot of it. So I do know some, but
Well, the one that I found and sent you was the Rhode Island case, which was, I guess, one of the only cases in America.
Okay.
Marie Rose Farron. She was actually a Canadian born in May of 1902. And then she died, really, like she was young, May 11th, 1936 in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. She was American Roman Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And she is the only known case, supposedly, that I can find of the stigmata.
Yeah, there's supposed to be like 400 in the world.
Yeah.
Like 400 some cases, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I'm not sure of this, but from what I heard, that this is very painful, and that they do actively bleed. And we have a picture here of how bloody, I guess you could say, it gets. And you can see the wounds on her hands, and blood coming from her eyes. I don't know the name of this person. If I had to guess, it's probably one of the 10 famous cases of stigmata people. And if I can, let me flip through here. Maybe it'll pop up. Oh, yep, there it is. So her name is Therese Neumann, Neumann, and she was born in 1898, and I'm just gonna say Bavaria because I can't read the name. And she's the oldest of 10 children. She was often put in charge of taking care of her siblings, especially after her father was called to serve in World War One. Her true ambition was to be a missionary sister in Africa, but sadly in 1918 she was injured during a fire, causing her to suffer partial paralysis. of the spine and later blindness. Jeez,
Oh my
that
goodness.
sucks. Man, talk about hardship, huh?
Oh.
But she was left bedridden, unable to work, which is paralysis. May 17th, 1925, she heard the voice of a newly canonized Saint Therese of, I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm just going to spell it Lisieux.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was asked if she wanted to be better. Therese said, of course, and answered yes. The saint told her she can now stand and see, but she still suffers. And suffer she did because these Therese was about to get the shock of her life and receive the stigmata. Okay. Um, uh, First day of Lent, 1926. She was ill with the flu as if she didn't have anything else. She lived a hard life, it sounds like.
Oh my goodness, yes.
She was alone in her room and experienced a divine ecstasy. I'm assuming that's not what it means today. But as the day went on, she discovered bloody marks on her nightgown, on her side, and above her heart. The stigmata had chosen her. The side wound continually wept blood. And on the put the staple right in the thing here. Third day of Lent, the hand wounds appeared, followed by tears of blood the next day. Saint Therese of that town I spelled, Lisieux. That's my only try. Said she'd suffer and did not stop. Later in the year, finally received her bloody crown of thorns. Her wounds never healed and stayed until on her body until death. Dealing with the stigmata is bad enough, but Saint Therese of that town came to Newman during her suffering time and told her, "No more earthly food. You'll survive on the Eucharist." It is claimed that after this, they didn't eat anything other than the Holy Eucharist every day and drank no water from 1926 onward. Given that Teresa lived until 1962, being a stigmatic is apparently a very thirsty job. Wow. And she is number 3 in the top 10 infamous cases of stigmata.
Okay, so the one that I told you about, Miss Marie Rose.
Yep.
At 13, Rose became ill and her hand and foot became paralyzed.
Oof.
So the Holy Spirit pulled through again for Marie as she took holy water one morning after Mass, and her hand instantly worked perfectly. Sadly, the holy water only helped her hand, and she had to remain on crutches for nearly 12 years.
Wow.
At 24 is when she started feeling the pain of the stigmata, which was the lashings on her back. The crucifixion marks started in 1927, and the weeping marks on her hands and feet. The crown of thorns started in 1928. And 1929 was when she started crying the tears of blood.
Interesting.
And her 34th birthday is when she passed. And she was unable to eat or drink. And wow.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I've heard doing reading through some of this stuff. I found somebody that says basically if the marks are on your hands,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and your feet, they claim you're faking it because
Yeah.
Jesus was nailed up to the cross through the wrists and the ankles. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I can't say yes or no because I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not that old. Although Probably a lot better time than we're living in today. I can tell you that. But the first the first real case of it was Saint Francis of Assisi. If I said that right, but if I didn't, I apologize. He was born in 1181,
Mm-hmm.
and he is the poster child for the stigmata. He was the first ever to receive this blessing, and people have been fouled in his bloody footsteps for eons. Though a saint now, Francis was a wild sinner in his early life. Aren't we all?
Yep.
Well known for his extreme drinking and his partying. Go St. Francis. Uh, he was imprisoned after a battle between Assisi and Perugia, I guess you would say it. Why can't they have regular names? Seriously.
No.
They really make you work for it. But he was in prison for ransom for a year. During that time, you guessed it, he started receiving visions from God. According to the legend, after he was released, Christ told Saint Francis to devote himself to him, repair the Christian church, and live a life of poverty. Saint Francis then abandoned his frivolous life and became a devotee of the faith, preaching and teaching all over the Christian world. He remained a pious devotee for as long as he lived, maintaining his poverty and living the life of an ultra Christian. I don't know what that means. I've never heard ultra Christian.
Huh.
I'm guessing that's uh, card carrying Christian type thing.
Yeah.
You know, that would be my guess. But in 1224, he made the ultimate sacrifice to devotion by undertaking a journey and fasting. Maybe I should start fasting. I could stand to lose a few. He left to climb Mount Laverna for a 40-day fast. One day during his fast, near the feast of the Exaltation of the Cross, a six-winged angel allegedly appeared to St. Francis while he prayed. The angel, as observed by St. Francis, bore the wounds of crucifixion. September 14th, St. Francis received the first marks of stigmata, having the sacred wounds appear on his hands and sides. These wounds stayed on and bled continually for 2 years up until his death.
Hmm.
Uh, Simple tale. First, he's believed to be the first case of stigmata can actually be traced back to disease. St. Francis suffered from many ailments in his lifetime. Uh, there's a doctor here, historian Dr. Edward Frederick Hartung,
Mm-hmm.
even diagnosed him with a debilitating eye disease known as trachoma.
Okay.
It's an eye infection. Basically, it's an eye infection, is what it says here. Um, it was also believed that St. Francis's stigmata was due to a severe case of malignant malaria, which causes hemorrhaging of blood through the skin in a medical condition known as purpura, Purpura. Strangely enough, it's usually distributed symmetrically on the hands and feet. Sounds a lot like stigmata, according according to this. I mean, everybody's got their reservations about stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So, but he's believed to be the first one to have it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've never had a case of it. Forgive me that I've never seen it. I've never heard of anybody in the U.S. with it. I think you found one case in the U.S.
Yeah. I mean,
That was that lady, right? Saint Teresa or
yep,
whatever.
yep,
Yeah. Or sorry, Marie Rose Farron.
yep.
I mean, most of these top 10, I mean, are European. Most of them, a lot of them are in the early days. Before like the 19th, 20th century. Most famously, though, is Padre Pio. He was born May 25th, 1887, and I can't pronounce this town in Italy, but we'll just say Italy.
Okay.
I'll spell it Pietrelcina. Pietrelcina? I don't know.
We're just
I,
gonna leave it like that.
yeah, we're just gonna leave it like that because I apologize if I said it wrong to anybody, but why can't you just make it? Why can't you just make them like normal? Like Woodbridge or Darlington or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, here's a connection. His parents entrusted his life to Saint Francis, which is
Oh.
why he was baptized as Francis the day after his birth. Apparently, a disruptive baby. You ever notice that the ones the kids who are like the most disruptive either become cops or priests?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. His father was frustrated by continuous crying and is quoted as saying, "It seems like the devil has been born in my house." That's it.
That's crazy.
From that point on, Francis never cried like that ever again. Interesting. A member of a deeply religious family, Francis spent much time at the Church of St. Mary of the Angels. He was baptized, received his first communion, and was confirmed there. A young pious child, he saw an apparition of the Sacred Heart of Jesus at a mere 5 years of age. He told Francis then that he would be his follower, dedicating his life at the age marked him forever, and Francis began having visions of the Virgin Mary, which would continue his entire life. Which is kind of cool. And here's a picture. Here's a couple of pictures of Padre Pio and his stigmata.
Wow. What the?
It's interesting, isn't it?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine going through that kind of pain every day. So there's a lot more on him here, but if anybody wants to read this, I found this religion: 10 infamous cases of stigmata. Okay, but he was 16. He entered the no, I don't know, the capuchin of the freaking name, man. Novitiate, I guess. I don't know how you spell it. Novitiate of the Capuchin friars. And he took the Franciscan habit and the name Brother Pio. He took his vows January 27th, 1907, and became an ordained priest August 10th, 1910. September of the same year, he was sent to the friary of San Giovanni Pondo, where he remained until his death in 1968. Oh, he lived a pretty long life, pretty good life.
That's awesome.
1887 to 1968. It's amazing back then they could live so long without half the crap that we got today.
Yep.
Makes you wonder.
Oh, oh,
So
I know.
I was actually told that if you have the stigmata, that Christ is calling you to service. Um, I'm not sure if that's completely right or totally wrong, but I've heard that's what I've heard. Well, like I said, there's only like 400 cases of it in the world, so I guess it's very rare.
Hmm.
But if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. See if there's any no, nobody in there. Feel free to ask them because I mean, or if anybody has any input, feel free. Feel free to input it. Input your input.
Now,
I
would the stigmata have anything to do with, the saints that don't decompose? Like the ones that have been entombed and stuff like that for hundreds and hundreds of years? Like, do you think that has any, even though it might have not, they might have not have had that it has something to do with the powers of what was given? Like,
I'm not
I mean,
actually
is it
sure.
a power? I have no clue.
I'm not actually sure. I mean, well, first off, I want to know why, if there is um, if you pass away and your body doesn't decompose. I mean, back then they didn't have what you call it like we have today.
Yeah.
You know, so what did they give? What did they put into the body that um, wouldn't decompose? Telling me my video is starting soon.
Mm.
Only 20 minutes late. What did they put in the body that it didn't decompose? I mean, everybody knows that you're basically decomposed. You decompose from the inside out.
Yeah.
So you got to take the organs out and stuff like that. You know. So, did they have formaldehyde back then? I don't know.
I don't know.
It'd be interesting to find out if anybody knows. Um,
I
it
mean, I
really
think
was.
it's fascinating. Mm.
It is because it's one of those mysteries.
Yeah.
The video starts. Oh Jesus! You gotta love Facebook. So far behind the freaking times here. We're gonna get off topic here for a second because oh, it's just updating. It's just updating. Gotta love it. I mean, I totally think that um, they had to have something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a mummified body. You hear all the time like they'll move a grave from the 1800s or whatever, or earlier than that, and they'll find a mummified body in it. I mean, do I think that spiritually it could happen? Sure, why not? Anything is possible. You know,
Yep.
so
What are they called? Incorrupt
yeah,
bodies.
I just I can't say yes and I can't say no, so it goes into maybe category.
Yeah.
It's like I was talking to somebody yesterday. I did go to the Power Unity Expo. Came home with a Ouija board. Sandy was not happy, but I'm actually gonna use it. I'm gonna try and find a spirit in a house with it. But anyway, back to the story. I was talking to a ufologist yesterday, and where I live in Highbridge here in Hunterdon County, we've had at least one documented case of aliens landing. Okay,
Okay.
this was like back in the 50s or whatever, and there's actually a book of it. The hybrid. I think it's think it's called Hybrid something or other. I don't know. There's actually a book about it by Howard Menger. Okay, I haven't read it yet. And I told him, I said, look, I can't say that I believe, and I can't say that I don't believe, because I never had an experience. But he was telling me that there are people walking around as hybrids. Yeah, you could be an alien and not know it. Yeah. you know, it's like they take the human body form, but they have all like the facial features of an alien. The eyes, noses, and stuff like that. You know, and the whole time I was trying not to make a joke when he said that, but I mean anything is possible these days. You know.
Uh-huh. No, seriously, yeah. No. I mean, we've talked about that before.
hmm I mean, I don't know, like a year or two ago, supposedly there was another sighting of an alien spaceship in Highbridge. Nobody ever documented it though.
That's crazy.
Come on, people. Stuff like that you don't see every day. You gotta document it. Pictures, video, something. It's like Bigfoot. I'm just kidding.
Poor Bigfoot. I found out today that the first Bigfoot picture that, the one that they always show,
Mm-hmm.
it is actually a female because of the breast. And
Okay.
her name is Patty. So she is Miss Patty Bigfoot.
Well, not for nothing. I've seen some men with bigger breasts than women.
Don't. That is a female. Don't take away from her breastness.
When they have hair on their face, they're not a female. Well, maybe they are, but I don't know. I don't know. Okay. If I offend anybody, I apologize.
The only feelings that you're hurting is Miss Patty Bigfoot.
Well, you know what? She can come to my house and tell me myself. But just be warned that she will be getting photographed.
All right, we got to get back to subject because we're going to get ourselves in trouble.
Like it ever stopped us before. All right. So, again, here's another thing that I found. I found this on Far Out the Stigmatics, or the Guardian. Problem is, it didn't print all the way. It stopped. It cut the page off at the end, so some of this I can't read. Excuse me. So anyway, here we are. Again, St. Francis of Assisi, whose wounds appeared during an angelic vision in 1224, was the first recorded stigmatic. However you say it. Okay, his unusual markings incorporated both Christ's wounds and the nails that inflicted them. Less pious observers today might describe these as large scabs. There's only about 400 stigmatics since then, and about 25 remain bleeding today. Most are women, and virtually all Catholic.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're women, so nobody get obsessed over it. I don't know. Okay, that's just what happens. I don't know. Maybe God likes coming to women better than he does men. Who knows?
Maybe.
You know.
We were stuck with our periods.
You calling that stigmata?
I call it.
I apologize for that.
It's the magic.
I couldn't help myself.
No, I think it's fucking hilarious. It's hilarious. It's freaking hilarious.
I just couldn't help myself. Anyway, wounds most commonly appear on the hands and the feet, but also the sides of the body, where Jesus was speared while on the cross, and on the forehead representing the crown of thorns. Most bleed a little, though some squeeze out up to a pint at a time. That is a lot.
Oh, ladies, I feel so sorry for y'all. They're bleeding out of all these holes.
Oh my god. I'm about to cry. This is a serious topic, but unfortunately, both of our sense of humor are taking over at the moment. So I apologize if we offend anybody today.
Look, we're not. I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's me.
Yeah, we're not trying to offend anybody, but
Reverend Dan he's just trying to lighten the mood. Me, I'm an a-hole. Take it up with my publicist that I don't
listen,
have.
I got a weird sense of humor just because I was a firefighter and an EMT for almost 20 years. Okay, that's how I dealt with this with calls. I'm sorry. Anyway, back to the topic for the moment. There's even a personality profile.
Okay.
Typical stigmatics are not happy ones. Oh, I can't say that blame them if they're in pain all the time. I wouldn't be happy either, would you?
No.
Most contemporary subjects have been victims of abuse and suffer low self-esteem. Most stigmata are deliberately self-inflicted or follow more complex patterns of self-harm, like those of Munchausen syndrome. If I remember correctly, I don't. You know what? I'm not going to say anything because I want to look it up.
Look it up.
I'll look it up
I'm not
later.
going to say anything.
Here, let's do this. Why, you know about Munchausen syndrome?
No.
I think I know. I think I've heard. I know I've heard of it, but I don't remember. Munchausen syndrome.
According to NHS, Munchausen syndrome is a psychological disorder where someone pretends to be ill or deliberately produces symptoms of illness in themselves. Their main intention is to assume that sick role, so that people care for them and they are the center of attention.
Okay.
Don't some mothers do that to their children?
Some do. That's what I was thinking it was. That's what I was thinking it was, but I didn't want to make myself look like an ass. An even bigger one. Some women do that, or some. I'm not going to say some women. Some parents do that because I'm sure there are men that do that too. But man, we just keep kicking ourselves in the ass today. But I mean that's basically like only means saying I have a demon. I need you to come investigate it, and I need an exorcism. Okay, well, why do you have why? What happened? You know, let's go through all the questions. No, I need an exorcism now. Well, I'm not coming. I'm not giving you a freaking exorcism.
No.
You know, you tell me an exorcism. I know you. I know you. You call me and say I need an exorcism. I know you're BSing. You know, it just happens that way. Especially when I say the magic words. I need a psychological report from you.
Yep.
And that's when they hit the ground running. Common criticism of stigmata sufferers is their wounds correspond more closely to religious art than they do genuine Roman crucifixion techniques. Christ would have been pierced through the wrists and the ankles, like I said before, rather than his hands and feet. Some new wave stigmatics like Emiliano Aiden, a 29-year-old from Argentina, countered this by displaying more accurately placed wounds.
Huh.
Okay, so I don't have my knife here, but we'll use a fork. It doesn't take much if you know what you're doing to stab yourself in the wrist. Okay, you as long as you know where your arteries are and the bone is, stuff like that, it doesn't take much. Oh wait, I do have a knife here. Go figure. But so I mean, like it said, most are fakes. I'm sure of. I mean, it's gonna hurt. Anybody would put them through that, put themselves through that. I don't know. I just don't
No,
know.
I can't.
You know. Um, However, medical conditions that could account for some instances of stigmata. Hemathyroidrosis. You get the picture.
Yeah.
Whereby a person appears to sweat blood can occur at times of extreme stress while spontaneous hemorrhages called sogenic purpura. There's that word again. Physical wounds also been manifested under hypnosis. So,
That's cool.
1933. Yeah, Dr. Alfred Leckler. My God, I can't speak tonight. Hey, hey, hey. Where's the booze?
You're tired, I can tell.
Oh, the heat up here is ridiculous. You can't even go outside without getting tired. I hope it cools off tomorrow.
You got to work
Uh,
tomorrow?
Unfortunately,
Ugh,
no vacation, no more vacation. First full week back.
that's ridiculous.
Yep. But Dr. Leckler here, recreated the full range of stigmatic markings on a 29-year-old German peasant after she had seen a film of Christ's crucifixion. Like I said before, anything is possible. You know, I can't say that I believe, I can't say that I don't. I'm 50-50 because I've never had a case like that. If somebody calls me and I show up and they have wounds on their wrists and ankles, first thing I'm doing is calling the church.
Yeah. Yep.
Taking pictures of it, and I'm calling the church. You need to send an investigator out here to investigate with me. Or I'm calling Bishop Ron and let him take it up the ladder.
There you go. Oh, that's I mean, it's interesting to read about. It was interesting to
It is. It is. I mean, to bleed a pint a day, like, holy hell. That's a
I
lot.
mean, I think it's insane that the people that have this, I mean, and I am not saying anything about people with like low self-esteem and stuff like that you can't bear the burden of things like that, but I would have thought, you know,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that wasn't sick, somebody that, you know, of sounder mind would have been thought
Yeah.
to carry on something like that, to battle that.
Yep. I give them a lot of credit for
Yes, a
being that
lot.
kind of pain. Me, I'd be breaking out the moonshine.
Yeah, I'd be like, please just take me.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, that's got to. Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
the pain scale's got to be like a 10 out of 10 or more. You know, especially if they bleed. I mean, you yourself know, you get a cut on your hand or whatever. Like we'll say, like on your palm where it flexes.
Yeah,
That hurts when it flexes, and it opens up every time you flex your fingers.
yes, it was.
So imagine that. If it's on your hand, I mean, it could even hurt on your wrist too. I mean, your wrist does flex when you move it, but I mean, man, I got respect for those that had this and have it. I
Yes,
mean, it can't be easy.
because their faith is the faith of a grain of a mustard seed, is what you guys say. So their faith is a lot stronger
Mhm.
than most people's, because I'm strong, I'm this, and see, I would have been a butthole because I'm like, hey, you can't deal with this, but yes, you can, because your faith seals whatever pain you're going through. Like my grandmother, I totally get it now. So
Yeah,
I think it's amazing.
yeah. I mean, here's Mystics of the last one you sent me.
Yeah,
Apparently, there's a secret story here of Padre Pio's stigmata.
really.
This is a volume detailing the report of a Vatican investigator who looked into his case and gives new information on the wounds and passion that the friar suffered. Um, Padre Pio, they, I'm just going to say Padre Pio because he's got that name behind him. Anyway, received the stigmata from the crucified Christ, who in an apparition invited the Capuchin friar to unite himself with his passion so as to participate in the salvation of others, particularly consecrated persons. This is what we can know with certainty thanks to the recent opening at the request of Benedict the 16th of the archives of the holy of the former Holy Office up to 1939, which contain information and revelations on Padre Pio that were not previously published. So, let's see. The revelations have been released in a book titled Padre Pio Soto Inchiest, an autobiography. Why can't they just say this in English? Seriously. God, it makes me tired just from looking at it. They do say it in English.
Okay.
Padre Pio under investigation, the secret autobiography. The volume is prefaced by Vittorio Massori and edited by Father Francesco Castelli, historian for the beatification cause of Pope John Paul II and professor of modern and contemporary history of the Church at the Romano Guardini Institute for Religious Sciences in Toronto, Italy. Till the publication of his book, many assume that Padre Pio, whether for reasons of modesty or because he thought himself unworthy of the charisms he had received, had never disclosed to anyone what happened on the day he received the stigmata. The only known reference to these events was in a letter Padre Pio sent to his spiritual director, Father Benedetto de San Marco of Lamas, in which he speaks of the appearance of a mysterious person but does not offer any details. The new book, which contains the first complete version of the report penned by Bishop Raphael Rossi of Volterra, later Cardinal, apostolic visitor sent by the Holy See to secretly investigate Padre Pio. Bless you. What was that? What did he do?
He slammed the door open to scare me because I was watching you so intently. What a jerk. My husband is a meanie. A meanie weenie. Keep going.
I'm gonna have to watch that now because all I heard was you spit the water out. Now I lost my place. Thanks, John. All right. Secretly investigate. I'll just start over. The new book, which contains the first complete version of the report penned by Bishop Raphael Rossi of Volterra, a later cardinal, apostolic visitor sent by the Holy See to SEE to secretly investigate Padre Pio, clarifies that on the occasion of the reception of the stigmata, and Saint had a conversation with the crucified Christ. The book also contains a number of statements that Padre Pio made under oath, which provide an interpretive key to Bishop Rossi's report. Asked to swear on the gospel, not curse. Padre Pio for the first time revealed the identity of the one from whom he received the wounds.
Huh.
June 15th, 1921, and in answer to question posed by Bishop Rossi, Padre Pio said on September 20th, 1918, I was in the choir of the church after celebrating Mass, making the Thanksgiving when I was suddenly overtaken by powerful trembling, and then there came calm, and I saw our Lord in his crucified form. He was lamenting the ingratitude of men, especially those consecrated to him and favored by him. Then Padre Pio continued. His suffering was apparent as his desire to join souls to his passion. He then, of course, they're stapled in the wrong spot. He then invited me to let his pains enter into me and to meditate on them, and at the same time concern myself with the salvation of others. Following this, I felt full of compassion for the Lord's pains, and I asked him what I could do.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean it goes on for a little bit.
I feel like I got a nose, like a bug in my nose, so.
That's okay. Just stick your finger out there and go to town.
All right.
So he says, I heard this voice. I will unite you with my passion. And after this, the vision disappeared. I came back to myself. My reason returned, and I saw these signs here from which blood flowed. Before this, I did not have these. Padre Pio then said that the stigmata were not the result of a personal quest of his own, but came from an invitation to the Lord who, lamenting the ingratitude of men, and consecrated persons in particular, conferred on Padre Pio a mission as the culmination of an interior mystical journey of preparation. Sir Stinks-A-Lot is in here.
Yay!
What? You got a rock? Good job. Close the door. You forgot to close the door. Yours, son.
All yours.
Nuh-uh, he's all yours. My son learned, I think I told you, my son learned how to fart on command.
Yep.
All right, where was I?
Is that a stigmata?
It was so corny, it's funny. That was so corny, it's funny.
Yep.
Anyway, back to the topic.
Imagine if I actually had alcohol today. It'd be a lot more funnier.
We should do a show drunk and see what happens.
We really oh no.
Oh man, I'm out of juice.
We would probably be banned.
Yeah, probably.
No more.
Probably. All right. So, Father Castelli, the book's editor, noted that the theme of the ingratitude of men, and especially those favored by God, is not something new in the Capuchin Friars' private revelations. Was that a cat? Oh, never mind. I was on TV. He told Zenit, what is decisive is that Padre Pio made no request for the stigmata. This helps us to understand the freedom and the humility of the Capuchin, who is clearly completely uninterested in making a show of the wound. Because he actually wore gloves, fingerless gloves.
Oh.
So most of the time you never really saw it. Padre Pio's humility also manifests itself in his reaction to seeing the signs of the passion traced in his flesh once he had come back to himself. In fact, conversation with the bishop, once the mystical scene has finished, it is not elaborated on further. From the conversation with Padre Pio, from the letters from the witnesses, questioned by Bishop Rossi, and finally from his own report, it is plain that the friar was unhappy about the signs of the passion, that he tried to hide them, and that he was uneasy in showing them at the request of the apostolic visitor. The editor explained. A sixth wound, ? The book conveys Bishop Rossi's conclusions about the stigmata. of which there had only been partial information, and so provides new information, especially about the form of the wound on the side of a rumored sixth wound on the friar's back. In his report, the apostolic visitor says that there was no festering in Padre Pio's wounds. They did not close and did not heal. They remained inexplicably open and bloody, despite the fact that the friar had tried to stop the bleeding by treating them with iodine. Bishop Rossi's description of the wound is in the side. Father Castelli told Zenit is decisively different from those before and after him. He did not see an upside down or slanted cross, but as having a triangular form, and so therefore with definite edges.
Huh.
Now, this is those tuning in now or later or whatever. I'm reading a report from the Vatican investigator into Padre Pio.
Okay.
Contrary to what certain doctors have said, Bishop Rossi concluded that the wounds did not appear to be externally inflicted. This speaks in favor of the authenticity of the stigmata, Father Castelli explained, because carbolic acid, which according to some was what Padre Pio might have used to cause the wounds. This is where they say that the wounds are self-inflicted.
Yeah.
The hell was I? After it has been applied, consumes the tissue and inflames the surrounding area. It is possible to think that for 60 years, Padre Pio could have caused himself these wounds in the same definite shape. I don't think so, because I've had acid on my hands and it burns. Yeah, it does eat the skin away, but it burns. You know, it's not something I would ever do again on purpose. Anyway,
No.
you know. Further, the wounds emitted the intense odor of violets rather than the the stench that degenerative process. Good Lord, I can't read tonight.
You're okay. Keep going. You're doing it.
Infections usually cause. I need a beer. According to the report, Padre Pio said, apart from the stigmata in his hands, his feet, and side, there were no other wounds, and therefore a wound on his back, as Jesus might have had from carrying the cross. Some suggested that Padre Pio might have had this wound. Father Castelli maintains that it is not possible to speculate beyond the information gathered in Bishop Rossi's 1921 investigation and attribute to Padre Pio any other sign of the Passion. This article has been selected from the Zenit Daily Dispatch, Zenit International News Agency. I'm not going to say that because I don't understand it. Rome, Italy, and Zenit.org. So you can get that. You can get this report off of Zenit.org.
Okay.
So, and Secret Story of Padre Pio's Stigmata. Okay, and this came out. I think it was released. Looks like it was released September 22nd, 2008, from Rome by Mirko Testa. So, there you have it. That's the investigation into Padre Pio's wounds. Now, like I said before, I've had acid on my hands from working, and it is not pretty. It burned. I mean, it burns like a mother. Okay, so why he would do that for all those years is beyond me. I mean, I just look at these.
Sorry.
Apparently, Tara's having a fight with the bugs.
It was a yellow jacket, and I'm allergic.
Gee, so I mean, this looks like a painting. This looks like a painting here. But let's see, the other one I think is more of a picture.
Oh God.
The other one's more of a picture, so you can see that's. I mean, it looks real to me, but like I said, it wouldn't. I don't know. It could be, but who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But and then we have this lady here. It looks
Yep.
like she has. It looks like she has a face drawn on her knee. Yeah, here's a better picture of it. And
So
you can see eyes, nose, and mouth, hair.
Ashley messaged me through Messenger. Can you explain to her again what we're talking about? What a stigmata is?
The wounds of Christ. Stigmata is the wounds of Christ, and anybody who knows Jesus Christ was crucified on the cross, and he was nailed to the cross. They're basically the wounds of being nailed on the cross through his wrists and ankles, as well as the thorns around his head and whipping marks on his back if you're lucky enough to have them. Can I help you? You got your chocolate. What is that?
I got a rock too.
Oh, see, she's got a rock too. You poop. You stink. I think he pooped.
Oh no. He's beckoning you. Come on, Daddy.
Either that or he farted on me. Hold on, let me. But that's what stigmata is, basically.
Yeah.
It's the wounds of Christ, and from what I've heard is if you have it, then you're being called to service somewhere in the Catholic Church. So, why anybody would do that on purpose is beyond me, but
No, I think that's crazy.
It is. It really is. So it's actually gonna reset a date for the.
Oh.
Since she didn't come on this time. I know. I just put her on the spot if she's watching. I know.
Yeah, put her on the spot. Ashley, we need
Yo,
you.
what happened, yo? What happened?
She's been definitely busy.
Aren't we
I
all?
haven't even really talked to her either. I'm calling you out. But we hope that everything is going well. And when you get going where you're going, we want you on the show.
Yes, we have. I have questions about what I know.
Yes. We have questions. Here she comes.
Lots and lots of questions. Oh, wait, we got a comment. It's probably her.
It's her.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi sucks. No excuses. None.
So what are we?
Well, let's give it another 30 seconds, and we'll just kind of make stupid faces at everybody.
All right.
That's her face when she's reading somebody. Oh boy.
Oh man.
Oh, God, the shit we do.
I know, right?
But anyway, that is our talk tonight on Stigmata. This was requested by somebody a couple weeks ago. I apologize it took us so long to talk about it, but here it is. We did it. Yay. It's going in and out. Yeah.
It's all right.
It's been happening. I don't know why. I think it might be the browser I'm using. I might have to go back to Firefox. I don't know. Because ever since I'm using Google Chrome right now, so. But anyway, that's our talk for the night. we hope you enjoyed it. I know I read a lot. I apologize. I didn't have time to. I didn't have much time to actually study this and talk about it from memory, but
I think you
everything.
did an amazing job. Both of
Oh,
us, we've been busy. Everything. You're the one that read.
yeah. Oh, I read the report. I read that
You did
report and
good.
a couple things from the other stuff, but other than that, it was good. So on that note, we're gonna say goodbye to everybody. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys. See you
Bye.
next
Bye.
time.
We'll see you next week, and we'll let you know what we're gonna talk about, who we're gonna talk with, and all that. So stay tuned to Facebook, YouTube, and whatever else I have it on. So later, people.